Yo, 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 welcome in, man. Today is Friday the 13th. Not the greatest, if you're superstitious, not the greatest day. You probably want to, make some bets, but we here to try to get paid, man. Try to get paid on this Friday. Excuse me. So we'll do it like we always do, a quick recap, jump into a couple of the comments, and try to get through as many of the games as we possibly can. But it's typically, a bigger slate like today. And just to be transparent, I have not been through every single game in full details. A lot of moving parts. A lot of teams, all the teams, of course, pretty well rested with almost like a little mini all-star break. So we'll jump into it. I did send out one play pretty much like 5 minutes before the show, and we'll talk about that as well. And of course, we'll do a quick recap. So let's start with the recap. Yesterday, I had two plays. I played the over in the Sacramento and New Orleans game first. Caught it early at 228.5. Didn't matter. 229.5, I think. Didn't matter. Sacramento offense reverts back to its normal self. They get no transition points, even though the Pelicans are one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA. And the Pelicans really stink it up from the three-point line. I mean, Sacramento's three-point defense is pretty bad. So when you're not making those shots, you really just don't have a chance. And that's what we saw last night. So that was a loser. I also played Boston and Detroit over. That was a loser. So 0-2 night for me yesterday. The Boston and Detroit game got off to a really clunky start. I think Detroit scored 16 points in the first quarter. One point I looked up, they were 3 for 21 from the three-point line. They ended up shooting 18.9% from the three-point line. The total went under by 5 points. So there you go. And that's what the NBA really is. I was thinking about it last night, kind of reflecting on it just a little bit. And the NBA is such a three-point shooting league. So if you make them, the game typically goes over. If you miss them, typically goes under. And if I bet the under, Detroit would have been on fire. Like I said, coming into the game, they were the number one three-point shooting team over the last 5 games. And Boston was a bottom 5 three-point defense. Neither here nor there. It is what it is. You live with the results and you move forward, but crushing losses, in my opinion, yesterday. Let's go through a couple of the comments real quick, and I'm going to try to be quick today so we can get through a couple of the games. What's up, Captain? Zach G. Hurst says, top of the morning, big day coming today. Says he can feel it. Let's go. That's the energy I like. What up, Sean? Today's good prop day. A lot of teams rested. Or it could be a bad prop day for that same reason, Smokey McLeod, but we'll see. What's up, Merrill? Says, let's get paid. Marie says, likes the Bulls, alt minus 3.5. We ain't got there yet. Jalen, what's going on with you? Appreciate you for tapping in. What's up to my guy, Sean? He says, thank God for Cade. He says, Monk sold my ticket last night. That whole offense sold tickets last night, Sean. Man, it was actually pretty bad to watch, man. Sacramento just missing every shot that they take. The Pelicans also not being able to score. And real quick, I got to look at that. Let me take a sec. Let me just, it's going to frustrate me. The Kings had hit 22 threes in that game before. The Pelicans, one of the worst three-point defenses. The Kings shoot 10 for 34 from the three-point line last night, 29%, including Kevin Huerter going 1 for 8 from the three-point line with his 7 points. De'Aaron Fox 1 for 6 from the three-point line. Malik Monk 1 for 5 from the three-point line. Had 5 points last night in 34 minutes. Pelicans are not a great defense. Not a great defense. Yeah, that's what it was for me last night, man. It is what it is, though. Like I said, let's just move forward. What up, PG? Appreciate you for tapping in. SK says Pels be covering, can't trust the Kings. Pels don't be covering either, but I guess they're a little bit better at the crib. Beast night for Sabonis. Sabonis did eat last night, and I should have figured that with Mizzy out there, or Messy. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but he's a rookie. Knew probably was too much for Sabonis. Was probably going to be too much for him, and it turned out to be that way. So let's jump into it for today. First up, we'll start with jaXon. I actually went to the second game. I think it's the second game on the board for today, which is the Lakers and the Timberwolves. Ask jaXon, simple prompt. Lakers or Timberwolves against the spread, and what's good with the total, jaXon? I didn't say it like that, but I'm asking jaXon what's the total as well. jaXon says ATS pick, take the Timberwolves minus the 8.5. Why I like it. Timberwolves as 8.5 point favorites Timberwolves are minus 8.5 point favorites at most sports books, and they've been dominant in recent matchups versus the Lakers. They crushed the Lakers 109 to 80 in their last matchup. on December the 2nd. The Lakers are 4-9 against the spread on the road this season and have struggled without LeBron James, who's already ruled out for tonight's game with foot soreness. Anthony Davis is listed as probable. The Lakers' offense has been inconsistent without their full lineup. The Timberwolves have won 4 of their last 5 meetings, 4 of their last 5 games, with 3 of those coming by 27 points or more. The defensive rating is 6th in efficiency, allowing just 106 points per 100 possessions. The Lakers' defense, on the other hand, is 26th in efficiency, allowing 114.4 points per 100 possessions, which could lead to another blowout in favor of Minnesota. As far as the total, while jaXon likes the under, both teams rank bottom third in pace. The Lakers 21st in possessions per game at 100.4, and the Timberwolves 22nd. The tempo, this slower tempo favors the low-scoring game. The Timberwolves defense has been stellar during their recent 4-1 run, allowing just 91.2 points per game. They've been locking down opponents and sticking to fundamentals. The Lakers offense has struggled without LeBron James, and they managed just 80 points in their last game against Minnesota. Recent trends also support the under. The total has gone under in 7 of the Lakers' last 9 games, and the Timberwolves have hit the under in 4 of their last 5 games. And then it just tells me why, both of these plays. Final thoughts: the Timberwolves are in a strong position to cover the spread given their recent form, and the Lakers struggles without LeBron James. Additionally, the slow pace in the Minnesota's elite defense makes for under a solid play. Let me know if you need any additional insight on player prop recommendations for this game. Boom. I think jaXon laid it out pretty well, in my opinion. I think that's pretty well of analysis on that game. But we'll jump into that game. As always, if you guys are interested in checking jaXon out, there is a link in the description of the video where you guys can do just that. You can check out jaXon. Player props, sides, totals, trends, NFL, NBA, college basketball, you name it. jaXon got a little bit of everything, even fantasy sports as well, to tell you, who to start in your fantasy lineup, DFS stuff, all of that stuff is there. So check out jaXon, 50% promo code in the description of the video. And let's jump into the games that we got for today. First one up, we'll be very, very quick and precise with this one. We got the Washington Wizards. They will be in Cleveland. Getting 17 points is what this line was at. Let's just see if we got an updated line. Looks like 17 is the consensus. Total is 232. Looks like it is on the move up. It opened 230.5 is what I'm seeing. So let's jump into the matchup. Of course, we got 2 well-rested teams. This was a game that honestly I could care less about. Didn't really dive too deeply into this one, but there's a player prop that I do like. So if we look at the matchup, we got a Washington Wizards team that's already lost twice to this Cleveland Cavaliers team. Well-rested, of course. Both teams are in-season revenge. Cleveland actually plays Boston on the 14th. I'm sorry. Washington plays Boston on the 14th. So you got first leg of a back-to-back for the Wizards. For Cleveland, they play Brooklyn coming up next, and they'll be on the road in Brooklyn. But that game isn't until Monday, so they got the whole weekend off. Not the greatest spot for the Wizards here. And if we look at the injury report real quick, because I forgot to mention that, we got all of the guys that are typically been out are still out. Brogdon is ruled out, which is probably their best guard. Keontae George is still out as well. Not Keontae George. Keyshawn George is still out. Corey Kispert is out. And, of course, no Kyle Kuzma. Isaac Okoro is listed as questionable. He could potentially return. And I did see Evan Mobley name pop up on the injury report as well. He's listed as questionable with an ankle injury. So those are one big injury, Evan Mobley, especially, for the Cleveland Cavaliers. They've been doing a lot through Evan Mobley. And it actually makes the player prop that I like a little bit more favorable, I think, in my opinion. So we know the trends about the Washington Wizards, specifically on the road, specifically at home. The Cleveland Cavaliers have been excellent at the crib, 18-7 straight up against the spread in general. As a home favorite, they are 11-3 against the spread. Now, do you want to lay 17 with them in this spot? Probably not. But when I look at the Wizards, why not? Like, the Wizards have been that bad of a team outside of getting that win against Denver the other day, where they caught them sleepwalking. They've been terrible. In the first half as well, they've been pretty bad. The Cleveland Cavaliers are also 10-4 against the spread in the first half. I'm on moneyballer.com. looking at some first half numbers. The Wizards continue to be just a really bad basketball team. We've been talking a lot about taking the team total unders. This line is kind of appropriate at 106.5, but I still think that they go under. If I had a play on the side of the total, I would be looking towards the Wizards team total to go under. I think the number was 106.5 when I was looking at it last night. That would be my play in this game, just because of the injuries that are sustained. I think Evan Mobley, maybe they give him the night off, but you can actually get a 107.5 for the Wizards team total. I just don't think that they're going to score a bunch of points. And we've talked, for ad nauseum about how bad their offense has been. But to give you guys some numbers really quickly, the Wizards are the worst offense in the NBA, averaging 103.8 points per 100 possessions. Last 5 games, still the worst. They're averaging 98.6 points per 100 possessions. So yeah, I would lay to 17. I see my guy Mark say he would lay to 17, or just take the team total under. I'm not sure that the Cleveland Cavaliers will need to score 125 points, which is what their total is. Can they? Absolutely. The Wizards have been terrible on the road. So that's the way I would play this one. What I did play and what I did send out was Donovan Mitchell up and over his assist prop. I've been watching Donovan Mitchell play these last few games, and they're kind of like doing some experimental stuff with Donovan Mitchell. He is doing a lot of facilitating, and I think that's because they're just trying to you get to experiment a little bit when you play against the Washington Wizards. And if you go back and look at the Cleveland Cavaliers last few games, not all of them have been the greatest of opponents. Really quickly, before tonight, they played Miami. They ended up losing that game as well. But before that, they played Cleveland, Denver, Washington, Boston, Atlanta. So they've been doing a little bit of experimenting with him. But he's been dominant lately. I put this in the write-up. He said 5 assists or more. His assist prop is 4.5. He said 5 assists or more in 6 of his last 7 games. The only game that he went under was against Boston. This defense is not anything near Boston. So 6 of his last 7, he's went up and over. 5. He's had 5 assists in 7. 5 and 7 assists in both matchups that these two teams have played so far this season. And he's actually hit the prop in 4 straight games versus the Washington Wizards dating back to last season. Last 5 games, he's actually averaging 10 potential assists versus on the full season, he's averaging just 8.3. So that lets me know that Donovan Mitchell does want to dish the rock, and I'll take him up and over his assist prop. And for just some context for the Wizards defense, they allowed the 6th most assists on the full season. But over the last 5 games, they actually tied for allowing the most assists. I think it's like 31. Tied with the Lakers at 31.4 or something like that. So that's what I played. I played Donovan Mitchell up and over his 4.5 assists. I expect this line to become a little bit more juice, but FanDuel got the best line right now. Absolutely not any juice on it right now. There's some juice on other books, but FanDuel had the best number. That's what I sent out to the members. Let's see what you guys are saying here. What up, Sean? Appreciate you for tapping in. Help a hand says, you ever do first basket, Chris? Absolutely not. If I did first basket, the player would be, and he would go to the locker room with like a back spasm, like Jakob Poeltl last night, not even be in the game. Absolutely not doing first basket. I have no data on first baskets yet. I would take the Timberwolves -9. I think I would, John, but I will get to that game in a second. What up, JLB Best? He says he bet under 232 here. LJ says Cavs first half at the crib. Great way to start the night off. So that first half number that LJ is mentioning is not available on most books right now, but ESPN Bet got it at -10.5. Fanatic got it at -10.5. A little bit of juice at -115. And if you guys do have access to Hard Rock, they got it at 10.5. But DraftKings, FanDuel, Caesars, ESPN Bet got it. Bet365 probably got it too, but I'm not seeing the numbers right now. So for what it's worth, it is available. You're laying a big number, but they should be able to get the job done. I agree with LJ here. Jordan Poole over his 19.5 points, Merrill says. I'm not messing with Jordan Poole. He also likes Jonas Valanciunas over his 12.5 points. Jay Holiday says Cade hit again last night, his rebounds and assists. What up, Prolific? Pass Markel says Lakers up. Gang Rain Bean says, okay, let's jump into that game. Maurice says experiment game spells Wizards plus 18.5. I don't even think so. I don't think so, man. Let's see. So just to put some numbers to that real quick, and we'll move over to the next game. So I mentioned the Wizards, being the worst offense last 5 games, 98.9 points scored per 100 possessions. They are giving up 121.8 points per 100 possessions. So even with them beating the Denver Nuggets outright, I want to say they beat Denver by it wasn't even that close. I think they beat them by 8 or 9. They still have a negative 22.9 net rating. So they're getting outscored by about 23 points per 100 possessions over their last 5 games. On the full season, they are right at 18 points, getting outscored by about 18 points per 100 possessions. I know I come on here and talk about the Wizards being bad all the time, and they are. But the Wizards are worse when they don't have a full lineup. And with no Corey Kispert, with no Keyshawn George, with no Malcolm Brogdon, that's really, really big in my opinion. So I would only be looking towards Cleveland, even laying the big number here. Evan Mobley is listed as game time decision, Markel. Let's keep it pushing. Way too long on that game. Pacers and 76ers up next. This was a game that I dove into a little bit last night. I actually like this one. Didn't bet it. Probably should have. And kind of got, I'd say, pushed off the number after it started to move. But let's jump into it. So we got Pacers on the road in Philly. This line was at 5 yesterday on DraftKings. And I'm kicking myself for not getting there. I did a deep dive into the game. 2 desperate teams looking for wins. Both of these teams have underperformed on the full season, of course. Let's jump in. All right, so you got an Indiana team that's not in good form. 1-8-1 against the spread in their last 10 games. Last time we watched the Indiana Pacers play, they lost to the Charlotte Hornets 109-113. They were 11.5-point home favorites in that game against the Charlotte team that was on the second leg of a back-to-back, a home road back-to-back at that. The Philadelphia 76ers, not in the greatest form, but they are kind of rounded in the form. 5-5 straight up, 6-4 against the spread in their last 10 games. They've won 4 of their last 5 games. They've covered 5 straight games, and 4 of their last 5 games have gone under the total. So defensively, they've been really, really stout and elite, have the Philadelphia 76ers. To put some numbers to what Philly is doing defensively, they are 4th best defensive rated team over the last 5 games, only allowing about 107.2 points per 100 possessions, 8th in opponent effective field goal percentage, forcing the 3rd most turnovers, and we're going to jump into all of that in just a second. So injury report here, we got Caleb Martin. He's listed as out. Bonner is also going to be out, which doesn't really impact too much now that Joel Embiid is back. He is supposed to play in this game. And you got Drummond, who is also supposed to play in this game. On the Pacers side, Aaron Nesmith and Ben Shepherd are going to continue to be out. So it looks like Nembhard will be back into their starting lineup. You have a spot here for Indiana where they did win the only meeting of the season. They beat the 76ers 118-114 in overtime back on October the 27th when the season first started. That game went up and over to 228.5. 9 of the last 10 meetings between these two teams have actually gone up and over the total. So something to take into consideration there. I kind of feel like the Sixers are the right side. Now, do I want to lay the 6.5 because this number opened at 5? Not really. Then you're asking for a blowout. Can the Philadelphia 76ers blow the Pacers out? Absolutely, they can. But this is what I had written down for if you like the Pacers. They want to push the pace. This team is 11th in transition frequency, but just 28th in points scored per 100 possessions in transition. Advantage for them here, though, because they're coming off a couple days rest. Pretty sure they're going to be ready to go, play super fast. Listen to Rick Carlisle talk about it yesterday. He said that, they're not a big team. They're not a physical team. So a lot of their physicality has to come with playing fast. Like, that's an advantage for them. So I do expect them to push the pace, understanding that Philly's not the greatest transition defense. So I do think that they're going to try to get out. Probably don't want to play against Philly half-court defense. Philly's also allowing the 3rd most transition points over the last 5 games, and they rank just outside the bottom 10 in opponent transition frequency. So that's the one thing that if you like the Pacers, you like that they want to get out and run. You like that they're well rested. I don't care. That's not enough for me. When I look at Philly, I talked about this already. You got a Pacers team that's 24th in last 5 games in offensive efficiency. Their offense has really struggled. They're bottom 10 in ball security, turning the ball over a lot. Last in offensive rebound percentage, so not getting a ton of second chance opportunities. And like I talked about, Philly, 4th best defensive rated team, forcing the 3rd most turnovers. Indiana bread and butter has been paint points and frequency. Philly has actually been top 10 in both. Not allowing a lot of points in transition. or not allowing a lot of opportunities. I'm sorry, in the paint, or not allowing a lot of opportunities in the paint. Indiana also attacks the mid-range frequently and efficiently. That's one of their bread and butter spots on the floor as well. Philly's also the best in opponent mid-range frequency and accuracy over the last 5 games. So a lot of things line up with Philly being able to cover their spread. From a trends perspective, the Pacers are 1-5 straight up and just 2-4 against the number as a road dog this season. They're actually 5-1 to the over in this spot, and they failed to cover 3 straight and 5 straight overs have happened for the Pacers. So defensively, they've been really bad as a road dog, and they haven't really covered. Offense, like I said, has really struggled. On the opposite side, the 76ers have only been home favorites 3 times. They're 2-1 straight up, 1-2 against the number. All 3 of those games have actually gone under the total. So I think Philly is the right side in this game. Do I want to lay a big number with them? Not really, but I do think they're the right side. I'm not playing the Pacers. No way I'm playing the Pacers in this game. Let's see what you guys are thinking in this one. Heavy lean. I handicapped the game yesterday. I saw the 5-1 DraftKings. The injury report hadn't completely come out yet. I go do a workout, and I get back on my phone to check it after I finish my workout. It had already started moving to 5.5. I thought 5 was the sweet spot. If I had to play the game, like proverbial gun to my head, I would lay the points with the Philadelphia 76ers. Tyrese Maxey over his 22. She says Sixers here. Maxey 23 potential assists last game, just dropping it off to Embiid at the free throw line. Plus 750 sprinkle on 10 assists. Somebody talked about that in the last game, SK. I'm glad you brought that up. Maxey he's like the proverbial point guard, not really having to score the ball as much. They're playing a lot slower. Remember the last time we saw these teams play, we saw the Sixers play, I actually took their team total up and over against the Chicago Bulls. The Bulls defense was terrible. Philly is still kind of figuring it. They didn't go up and over their team total in that game. It was like 117.5. They finished at 109, I think. Just horrible. Just couldn't score the basketball. I do expect Philly's offense to get it together sooner or later. When I was listening to Nick Nurse post-game, post-practice interview yesterday, he says a lot of the things that they're working on is defensive things. So that kind of makes me think that I know that his total's going up, but maybe even a Pacers team total under. If outside of the Pacers being able to get out and run in transition, I don't see how they're going to be able to generate a lot of points in this game. The Philadelphia 76ers defense has been pretty good. Yabusele, Paul George, Kelly Oubre, they have some pretty good defenders. Joel Embiid against Miles Turner, they got some pretty good defenders. I think even though the total's going up, I think it could be a potential Pacers team total under spot. Sean says he grabbed the 5.5 with Philly. What up to my guy Justin in here with me as always? What up, Justin? Good morning, Kyra. She says 76ers to win. Embiid over his first quarter points. How I feel about this, G. I feel like the Sixers can win this game by double digits. We'll see how motivated they are, but they're in much better form right now than the Pacers. People want money lines because they don't like sweating out bets. So they try to, combine a couple things together. But you take their Pacers plus 6.5 and they lose by 12, you might not feel too good about it. But do as you wish, man. Mark says no Pacers for him. Justin says, I want to bet Embiid over his 43.5 points, rebounds, and assists, but I feel crazy about both of these teams, but he historically kills the Pacers. I talked about, 9 of the last 10 games have actually gone up and over the total. I just hate that I missed the number. You can never miss your number, JM says. You absolutely can miss your number. No idea what you're talking about. It's easy to miss a number. Yeah, no idea what you're talking about. Holly over his 17.5 points. To this point, Merrill, I actually screenshot this, didn't put it in my notes on my laptop. But I was looking at, it's a lean right now, I haven't played it, but Tyrese Maxey under his 8.5 assists. Tyrese Halliburton under his 8.5 assists. So we know that the Pacers offense does not play as good on the road. That's first and foremost. We also know that Tyrese Halliburton, a big part of it is him not being able to do his thing specifically on the road. So I'm looking at the last 10 games. We talk about the pace for the Sixers being really slow. I'm pretty sure they're going to try to play this game at a snail's pace. They won't want to get in the shootout with the Pacers. I don't think so. And I'm looking at Maxey game log. His assist prop was 8.5 last night. I think it's still 8.5. Maxey, I keep saying Maxey. Tyrese Halliburton is actually going under his 8.5 assists in 4 straight road games. 5 of his last 6 of his last 7. He's actually only has 9 assists against the Milwaukee Bucks in his last 7 games, in road games specifically. Tyrese Halliburton is not going over his 8.5 assist prop. So that's another way to look at it as well. Hot TV Grit says, what about Sixers win margin 1-10? I can see that. I can definitely see that. Yeah, it definitely should be rich if you never missed a number. Let's see. Holly is going under his assist. Yeah, I like it, bro. I'm gonna add that to my short list. Tyrese Halliburton under his assist prop. Yeah, like I said, I screenshot it on my phone, but I did not add it to my notes. So we're gonna keep it moving. Try to get through a couple more games before I gotta jump off here in a couple minutes. Not gonna be able to get through all of them, clearly. But yeah, we'll go Tyrese Halliburton. I'm gonna be looking at him under his assists. Under the number should be 8.5 assists. And I do lean towards Philly. This was actually 6 when I started the show. Now it's up to 6.5. But yeah, I guess that's the way I would look as well in that one. Let's keep it moving. Try to get through maybe 1 or 2 more games real quick. Next game we got up is the Lakers and the Timberwolves. This line was at 6.5 when it first opened, is what I saw. Of course, the news came out that LeBron. God damn, it's up to 9 now. Of course, the news came out that LeBron James will not be participating. He's not with the team. As you could, say it's a couple different reasons. I saw some soreness in his foot, or I don't know, like he's just not with the team for whatever reason. You also got Austin Reeves, who is listed as questionable. He fell on his back against the Thunder, and he hasn't played a game since then. So even if he does come back, he could be a bit rusty here. Looks like the Lakers are potentially start Max Christie with Rui Hachimura, Dalton Connect, and Anthony Davis to round out the starting lineup. On the Minnesota side, they should be pretty healthy. Nobody on the injury report outside of Joe Ingles, who really hasn't played a game, in quite some time anyway. So that's the injury report. The longer this line gets, the more I kind of think the Lakers could cover a big number. I know jaXon talked about, the first matchup that they played. Timberwolves won 109 to 80. They were laying 7.5 points, which is very similar to this number. The total was 219. It went, of course, under. The sharp thing about the thing about jaXon that didn't take into consideration is the Lakers are actually coming off 4 days rest in this spot. That game against the Timberwolves, if you guys remember, was a 5th game in 7 nights. One of the worst potential spots on the card. And the Timberwolves had been sitting at the crib. It was actually their 4th straight home game. They were coming off 3 days rest. I think it was 2 days rest, 2 or 3 days rest, just waiting for the Lakers. The Lakers offense had actually played a little bit better without LeBron James on the floor. I don't have the numbers like directly in front of me right now, but I do remember that the Lakers offense playing a lot better. And I know it's a hard sell because the Timberwolves defense had been so good before, losing to the Golden State Warriors, which defensively they still played really, really well. They only gave up 114 points, even though the last time we saw them play, they did lose. They lost, but more so because of their offense. They only scored 106 points. But before that game against the Warriors, they had played the Warriors the night before, held the Warriors to 90 points. Clippers held them to 80 points. Lakers held them to 80 points. Clippers held them to 92 points. So this had been a really, really strong defensive team. Actually, as jaXon said, 4 of the last 5 games have actually gone under for them as well. The Lakers offense, I don't got to talk about it, but I think the ball could pop a little bit more. Offensively, they've been struggling as well, though. Only came home to Portland Trailblazer game. They did win and cover that game. That game went under the 224 total. But this line is starting to move. I think it's about where it should be. It feels pretty sharp. I am expecting more money to come in on the Timberwolves now that people wake up, they see LeBron James not playing. Timberwolves been balling. I would probably wait and see how big this line gets, and I would probably look towards taking the points with the Lakers on the opposite side. If it touches 10, maybe I'll get there with the Lakers. I think that the game is going to be played pretty slowly. I don't trust the Timberwolves offensively. I think the Lakers have, had a chance to kind of get some things, done. They knew that LeBron James wasn't going to play probably 2 or 3 days ago. So while it's breaking news to us, I don't think it's really breaking news to them. I'll probably be looking towards the Lakers with the points as a dog in this spot, even without LeBron James. And I'm gonna try to pull it up real quick, and then we'll go through the comments and maybe potentially get through one more game, and then I'm gonna jump off here. Let's see what you guys are saying about this one. We can go to this game. G. Harris says, need to talk about the Jazz game. The line has gotten steam. Yeah, with KD being back, of course it got steam. I think they opened as 4.5-point dogs up to 7.5. I think it was now. Let's see. What else y'all seeing? G. Harris says, do we think the Lakers are going to score here? Lakers team total under maybe. I think full game under makes a lot of sense. I can see the Lakers, playing a little bit better defensively. I think without LeBron James, they probably play a little bit slower pace game. Timberwolves are excellent getting back in transition defense. That's one of the Lakers' strengths. So it's definitely an under game. I can see the Lakers struggling to score, but the Timberwolves offense really hasn't sold me a lot, if I'm being honest. LeBron James also don't play a lot of defense. So I think the Lakers' defense could be a little bit better with Max Christie out there than LeBron James being out there, in my opinion. So those are my thoughts on this, G. Hurt. I think it's an under game. And Lakers team total, I couldn't talk you all. Smokey seems best says I'll probably be on the Lakers here. The way the Timberwolves been playing, I definitely wouldn't lay 8.5, especially at home. Sounds like a setup for disappointment, JFX says. Okay. Wolves ain't messing around. Maurice not like some -9. Kristen says, whoa. Give me the Lakers plus 8.5. Reem says the Lakers win. What up, Lingowit? Appreciate you for tapping in. All right, so real quick before we transition to the next game, I talked about this the other day. I'm not sure if it was on my show or if it was on Cal's show, but the Lakers offense with LeBron James on the floor. So the Lakers are getting outscored by about 2.5 points per 100 possessions over the full season. With LeBron James on the floor, the Lakers are getting outscored by 7.8 points per 100 possessions. They're scoring 112 points and giving up 120 points. With LeBron James off the floor, surprisingly, this number gets a lot better for the Lakers. Let's see what it is. Plus 11.3 points per 100 possessions are the Lakers. They are a much better team with LeBron James off the floor. Don't tell nobody. Scoring 121.6 points per 100 possessions and giving up 110 points per 100 possessions. It's been 610 possessions with LeBron James off the floor. They're outscoring their opponent by about 11.3 points per 100 possessions. Don't tell nobody that. People not ready to hear that yet. All right, so let's keep it moving. I do think the Timberwolves win the game, though. I think the Lakers can keep it close, though. And then these numbers kind of back it up. So let the number get really big, and then boom, that's it. All right, let's go to I want to do one more game real quick. I think y'all said Nuggets. So let's skip over Nets and Grizzlies. Grizzlies do got double revenge in the game. I do think the Grizzlies are going to take this game really serious. Do I want to lay 11.5 with them? This number open 10.5? Not really. I think that they can score. This total went up from 230. I think this is up to 230. 230 has actually come down. It was up. I thought it went up to 232. What I had written in my notes was, it opened at 227. That's what it was. So it is up 3 points. What I wrote in my notes was Memphis team total up and over. The Nets defense has regressed a little bit. They do match up really well in certain aspects. The Grizzlies, one of the hottest team, I think, in the NBA right now. They're 9-1, straight up 8-2 against the spread, coming off a big win against Boston. And I do think I was listening to Santi Aldama talk about this game, talk about losing to Brooklyn twice already this season. I think that they're gonna get up for this game. I'll probably be looking at Memphis first half. The Nets still got a bunch of guys out: Cam Thomas, Zaire Williams. Luke Kennard is not on the injury report for Memphis, so they get even more healthier in this spot. Double revenge spot. They lost both games at home and on the road, both as favorites. I think that they take this one serious. And Brooklyn, they've kind of regressed a little bit. They are 8-3-1 against the spread as a road dog this season. They've covered 3 of their last 4 games, but they were brutally beaten by the Chicago Bulls 102 to 128. In their last road game that they played. They were unrested in that spot as well. So potential Memphis first half, potential Memphis full game team total over. I think that they run really, really fast. The Nets are one of the worst transition defenses in the NBA. So that's the way I would play that one. Let's keep it moving. Charlotte and in Chicago. That's a bunch of injuries in this game. Not a game that I look too deeply into. I think Josh Giddey is listed as questionable. Vucevic, I think, was also listed as questionable, so I wasn't really interested in that one. If I had to play it, though, I'm not laying points with Chicago. I'll tell you that. It would be Hornets plus the 5.5 or nothing, but I need to do a little bit more work on that game. Clippers and Nuggets. I think you guys wanted to go through this one. This was a game that I hadn't really gone through a lot either. We'll start with the injury report. So this line did open 6.5. Total open 226. It's up to 228. So not a lot of money coming in on either side, but the total has gone up 2 points. If we look at the injury report, we can see that I know Amir Coffey is off of it. I know James Harden went through a full practice the other day as well. We got James Harden it looks like he's going to be good. Chris Dunn, Norm Powell's back, of course, Nicholas Batum, and Zubac. So Terrence Mann is still out. I know Kawhi Leonard's been going through practice. He's not going to play in this game, of course. Derrick Jones Jr. is also out for the Clippers, which I think right hamstring strain, reevaluated in 2 weeks. I do think that that's a pretty big injury there because defensively, he can score the basketball. He can shoot threes. He's a streaky shooter, but he can get hot at times. And then on the Denver side, you got a bunch of guys listed as questionable. DeJounte, this is probably why I didn't go through the game. Jamal Murray, hamstring. Christian Braun, like I just can't cap games like this. Christian Braun as well. He's also listed as am I tripping? Okay, he's listed as probable. He was dealing with right quad injury. Aaron Gordon, game time decision. Looks like he's listed as probable as well. And I think that's gonna be it. Dario Saric is still out as well. So really quickly, like I said, I still got some work to do on these games. Really quickly in this one, we got. All right, let's try this again. Now, bear with me for just a second. All right, so really quickly, I know that these teams have played twice already. The Clippers have gotten the best of the Nuggets twice. We played the under the first time that these two teams played. It was in Denver. It was on a Saturday. I vividly remember taking a nap, waking up, and going. And the game was in the fourth quarter. And I took a long nap. And that was a winner. So yeah, they played. That was December the 26th. That game went under the total. Went under by 4 points. It was a 217. Denver beat them. Denver lost 109 to 104. And then the most recent game was actually on the first. I remember this game too. It happened on a Sunday. I was on the under, and the game flew over the total by 22 points. Denver actually lost that game 126 to 122. So you got a Clippers team that's 2-0 against the spread, against the Denver Nuggets. Getting 6.5 points feels like I know that I'm not ready to lay 6.5 points with Denver. Very, very, I'm not going to call them fraudulent, but I will say that the Denver Nuggets are very inconsistent. They got a big win against Atlanta the other day, but before that, they lost to the Washington Wizards. They also haven't been covering at home. I know that the last time that they were a home favorite, they were playing against the Warriors, and they were laying 5 in that spot, ended up winning the game by 4. So as a home favorite this season, the Nuggets are 2-7 against the number. 4 straight non-covers, 6-3 to the over. Defensively, this is where they don't play really good defense. Their opponents have actually gone up and over their team total in 6 of the 9 games so far. And that's what I worry about with the Nuggets. I can't lay Ski. My guy Ski always say this: can't lay points with a team that's not playing defense. And the Nuggets are not playing great defense right now. The Clippers defense typically does travel. They are real quick. Clippers are 4-3-1 against the spread as a road dog, losing by about 5 points per game. Last time they were a road dog was against the Timberwolves. They lost that game by 1. They were getting 7. They did get smoked to the Celtics, but that was a 5th game in 7 nights. They also lost to the Rockets, back-to-back games, and lost to the Thunder. I'm not sure if we want to say that the Nuggets are on the same tier as the Celtics and the Rockets defensively. So I think that this is a game that the Clippers should be able to keep close. Real quickly, one more thing I want to do before I go through the comments and get into a quick recap. I want to match the teams up on the floor. Let's go. Let's see if the Clippers should be able to score against Denver. This could be enough. I do want to look at the opposite side as well. So last 5 games, Clippers offense 18th in points scored per 100 possessions, so right in the middle of the pack. 16th in effective field goal percentage, 16th in turnover rate, so about middle of the pack there. Not getting a ton of offensive rebounds, 19th in that category, and not shooting a ton of free throws, shooting the 5th fewest free throws out of Clippers last 5 games. Defensively for Denver, middle of the pack as well, 18th. Giving up a ton of offensive rebounds, the 5th most offensive rebounds. Not turning teams over, 18th, about middle of the pack there as well. When I look at where the Clippers are shooting the ball, it's all 3-point shooters. The Clippers shot charts right now, last 5 games look like the Golden State Warriors. They're getting to the rim at the 5th fewest amount of times per game, 28th in rim accuracy. So Zubac has not been playing well. Clearly, he's regressed because I know that's a lot of him down there at the rim. But the Clippers are shooting the 3-point ball really well. 7th in overall 3-point frequency and accuracy. 41% of their shots are coming from the 3-point line, shooting 40% from 3. Above the break 3, they're 5th in frequency, 8th in accuracy. So they're doing a really good job of hitting threes. The Denver defense, on the other hand, is 18th in opponent 3-point accuracy, allowing teams to shoot about 38%. 20th in opponent 3-point frequency. So teams are getting 41% of their shots up from the 3-point line. If I look at the Clippers offensively in the half court, 14th, so middle of the pack there, not getting a ton of offensive rebounds. Denver giving up, like I said, the 5th most offensive rebounds in the half court. And then when I look at transition, Clippers 5th in transition frequency, so they are trying to get out and push pace. Not really scoring a ton of points though, only 23rd in points per 100 possessions in transition. And then I look at Denver defensively, middle of the pack in both of those categories. And that's what Denver kind of feels like one of those teams that can turn it on, but not always going to turn it on. I think I like the Clippers plus the points. Let's go to the other side real quickly before we get into a quick recap. Let's look at Denver offensively versus the Clippers defensively. All right, so offensively, Denver's 12th in points scored per 100 possessions, 7th in effective field goal percentage, 22nd in offensive rebound rate, 18th in turnover percentage. You look at what Denver has been doing recently, and it's been getting to the rim. 1st in rim frequency, 14th in rim accuracy, 8th in paint frequency, 1st in paint accuracy. So this team is getting to the paint a lot. Also shooting a bunch of mid-range shots, actually 2nd in mid-range accuracy, 5th in mid-range frequency, not shooting a ton of threes. They're actually shooting the fewest corner threes, fewest above the break threes, and fewest threes overall. Just 25% of their shots over the last 5 games have come from the 3-point line. And they're not making a ton either. They're 17th overall in 3-point accuracy, which I'm looking at the Denver Nuggets. I'm looking at the Clippers defensively. They are doing a pretty good job. They're top 10 in opponent rim frequency, but they're getting killed in the paint. Teams are shooting 77% at the rim against this team, which is actually the 2nd worst. Paint point accuracy, they're also bottom 10 there as well. Long mid-range accuracy, bottom 10. Overall accuracy from the mid-range, bottom 10. So Denver, that does line up for Denver to be able to score the basketball here, but it's all going to be in the paint, not from the 3-point line. If I look at Denver offense in the half court, the 3rd in half court points per possession. The Clippers are bottom 10, 20th in defense in half court. And then transition. Denver pushing the pace a lot. They're actually 2nd in transition frequency, but not scoring at all. 29th in points per 100 possessions. So while they try to get out, they're not capitalizing on getting out and scoring in transition. The Clippers defensively, 19th in opponent frequency and 23rd in points per 100 possessions. So I guess I agree with the over. I think the Clippers, now that I'm looking at this, I think the over is the right play. Denver should be able to score in the paint. They should be able to score in the mid-range. They're probably going to be able to score in transition as well, with the Clippers defense being pretty poor defensively and missing Derrick Jones Jr. And I also think the Clippers will be able to take advantage of Denver and be able to knock down some shots as well, with the Denver defense being pretty bad, specifically at the 3-point line. So I think I like under. I mean, I think I like over a little bit more than anything else based on the numbers that I'm running right now. Let's see what this looks like one more time. Yeah, the Clippers should be able to hit some threes, and Denver should be able to take advantage on the inside the paint. Both teams play pretty fast. Both teams top 5 in transition frequency. So neither team wanted to play against the other team in the half court. So over would be my recommendation here, because I know you were the guy who asked about this. Let's see. What up, Fremont? Clippers +7, Grizz -10. Fremont says, I said the Celtics, Lakers are like the Chiefs of the NBA. When all the money is against them, they usually pay us. Kind of like that first half angle, Mark says. On the last game that we talked about. Yeah, I think it makes sense. Hornets +6 for Kara. Justin says he'll be taking Jokic to get another triple-double. Malik says, I didn't touch that Bulls game either. Injury report is ugly. Yeah, it's super ugly. Micic over his assist prop at 7.5. I couldn't talk you off a little Micic. We know that the Bulls don't want to play defense. I was thinking Brandon Miller up and over his 3-point prop as well. I do think that the Bulls are going to be able to score the basketball, though. When I was looking at the numbers last night, just real quick on this, Captain Zach, the Bulls are shooting a ton of threes. They're making a ton of threes. They're actually top 5, I think, in 3-point shooting right now. The Charlotte Hornets defense, that's the one vulnerable area for them. They're giving up a ton of threes over the last 5 games. Justin says he forgot Kawhi is still in the league. Nuggets defense been trash. Memphis spread today too. I like the Grizzlies today, GLB best. I do like the Grizzlies, man. I don't know if I want to lay that big of a number, but that first half, I think with them being motivated makes a ton of sense. I want to play them some way, somehow. I'll see what happens though. Appreciate my guy Fred. He says loving that first half angle for the Grizzlies. He likes the Denver Nuggets team total to go up and over. I think we see points in this game for sure. The total is moving too. It's 228.5 now. And I got 228. So money is coming in on the over in this spot. The Lakers total is dropping down to 213.5. I see on some books. But that's where we're going to end the show today. I got to get ready to get up out of here. Recap real quickly. What is the Memphis first half number? Because I'm potentially could get there. Need to do a little bit more digging in that one. But I do think Memphis is probably the right side. I see -6.5 in the first half. And man, I know Brooklyn has been really good. I don't want to discredit Brooklyn at all. I know they've been really good, specifically in the first half. I think Memphis can run away with this one though. Nobody's gonna like it, but Lakers plus the points, and Clippers and Denver to go up and over 228 would also be my recommendation. So let's jump into a quick recap. Didn't touch on Suns and Jazz, just kind of ran out of time. But yeah, I'll dive into that game a little bit more. Spurs and Blazers got a ton of injury stuff going on as well, so won't touch that one either. But this would be the short list. The only bet that I play so far today is the Donovan Mitchell up and over his 4.5 assists. Still readily available without the juice, but I do think it will be juiced before the day ends. Philly minus the 6.5. I do feel like it's the right side. Tyrese Halliburton potentially may get there with his under 8.5 assists in that game to stay off the spread. Like we talked about, Memphis first half minus the 6.5. I think it's a good look with the double revenge today. I think they jump on them early. And then Clippers and Denver up and over the 228, one that we just kind of talked through right here. So yeah, these would be the top looks for myself today. Resources, as always, that I use to handicap the games with. We got a special resource coming. I'm not adding anything else except one more. I got one more that I think is going to be super helpful for you guys. And I'm probably going to debut that tomorrow. Super excited about that. But check out jaXon if you guys are interested. Did the overview of the Lakers and the Timberwolves game at the top of the show. 50% off promo code in the description of the video. Same thing for Moneyballer, 50% off there as well. And then OddsJam, sportsbook referral, sportsbook screen page for myself, 20% off using code CBC. And there's some other ones at the bottom as well, if you guys are interested in checking them out. But best of luck on whatever it is that you do play. I will be live with Cal later today. And I got to do a little bit more diving on a couple of these games. But Donovan Mitchell, go ahead and get us like 10 assists tonight, so we not even sweating that 4.5. Best of luck on whatever it is that you are betting today, man. I will catch you guys in the next one. Enjoy your Friday. Bye.